Okay, Matt.
We're
Good.
back.
We're back. Good to be talking to you on Zoom again, I guess. Couple changes, probably to be made this upcoming season, but we'll get our one tune-up slash off-season episode in. Just wrapped up the trade deadline today. I thought pretty lackluster in compared to recent years, just overall across the MLB.
Well,
I thought there
tell
were
me about
some.
it.
Okay, well, we'll get to your turn. I know you're frustrated with the GM and certain executives, but we'll get there. But yeah, just a couple things. I think we are changing the name slightly, right? So we will no longer be the fan and the fanatic. We're gonna be the fan and fanatic. Um, that's just a
Well,
little teaser
that's
there.
season three. We're
That's yeah,
technically the
season
fan
three.
and the fanatic.
We
It's still
still
the off
are. It's still
season.
the off season. Little teasers. We're doing some. We've been trying to shake things up a little bit here and there, but yeah, just good to get back to talking on the pod again. It was a nice little break, but time to prep up for football season, right? So gotta get used to talking in front of a camera again, I guess. But let's get back. Just jump right into some of these trades. So we'll just start off overall takeaways of the deadline. Like I said, maybe it's just me, but I didn't feel like there were really huge blockbuster trades like we'd kind of seen in recent years, right? Particularly, I mean, I guess my team, as well. They've been kind of more aggressive, you could say, at the deadline. Yankees of old, definitely pretty aggressive at the deadline. Matt is pretty upset. But just off the bat, my initial reactions, I guess, winners and losers. Texas, I thought definitely a winner, right?
They're going all in this year.
They're able to get, Scherzer and I believe the ex Yankee
Jordan
Montgomery.
Montgomery.
Yeah, Jordan Montgomery to help bolster that pitching staff. Already one of the, if not the best hitting team, I believe. 1 through 9 in the bigs right now. I mean, they just know how to hit. It was kind of their pitching letting them down. So I mean, you bring in Mr. Scherzer to back up, their ace now in Nate Evaldi. Like
Aldi.
that's a scary 1-2 punch for any AL team. Just with how Texas can hit, they'll be in any game, any series come playoff time. So I definitely thought they did pretty good job. I mean, Houston too, getting Verlander back as well. I don't know how they
They
pulled
would.
that off. Um, but really the whole AL West I thought did really good. The Angels kind of surprised me. So not only did they keep Shohei, managed to keep him, um, but they also went out and got Giolito. They got a couple other guys to help improve their roster. I thought the biggest underrated signing by them though was they got uh CJ Crone, I believe, right?
CJ
Um
Cron and Randall Grichuk
and
from the
Randall
Rockies.
Grichuk. I thought those are two big signings for them. It really is kind of a top heavy lineup for the Angels, so getting a couple more bats in there, I thought was a really big pickup for them. So yeah, the whole AL West really kind of are just going for it. They all think they have a chance, I guess, this year. So it'll be an interesting race to see there because not there's only what 3 wild card spots now, I believe, right? And with how the AL East is also looking, you got Tampa, you got Baltimore, you got Boston, Toronto, and your Yankees, unfortunately, in last place.
Don't even
But
mention them. They're not even in this conversation.
but
They're in dead
um
last.
but yeah, it's kind of crazy. Out of all those teams, you know, only 3 of them are gonna make it, and a lot of them are going for it. I think Toronto picked up a few guys as well. Um, kind of help with the injuries that they got there. So to me, the Texas state of Texas definitely did well. They're going for it. And I don't want to talk about the losers necessarily because I think every team was trying to fill a need for the most part. Okay, maybe there was one loser. There was one losing team because let's face it, you're either buying or selling, right? It I didn't see any
Exactly.
trade. Yeah, there were no trades that jumped out at me where I thought, wow, that's a rip off. Like someone got ripped off or something, like someone what the heck? You're trading him for who? Like, I didn't really see anything like that just on the notifications that would pop up on my phone. Nothing crazy like that. So yeah, I wouldn't say any losers except maybe one stagnant team that got a couple relievers that happen to have what the best bullpen already in the league. So I know I like to poke fun. I'll let you get to your turn, Matt. Don't worry. Um, But let me just start really quick with the breakdown of what I thought or how I thought the Dodgers did. So, typically Andrew Friedman, right? Pretty notorious for going for it in season when he think he has a chance, right? Go back to the Machado trade, big one. Go back to the Yu Darvish trade, right? Max Scherzer, Trey Turner, like a lot of these trades that I've been spoiled and gotten accustomed to where he's not afraid to go out and send the prospects and trade the farm to go get guys to make a push that year because luckily the Dodgers do have a pretty good pen system. Um, they have a lot of prospects and it definitely seemed like they were going for it. I didn't think the names were as splashy this year. I thought, man, if we could get Scherzer or Verlander, those were the two pitchers I was keeping my eye on. Even Cease, I heard was on the market. Um, but yeah,
And
I think
Eduardo
yeah,
Rodriguez.
Eduardo
I think
Rodriguez.
that's the one that should be
That was an
ticking you off the
interesting one.
most.
That was an interesting one. But let's start with the couple, that did go through. So we got a couple bats. Kike is back. Good guy to have around. I thought he was a good postseason performer for us. Chris Taylor, similar role type of thing, where he can play any position really. But got him to shore up that infield and hit some left-handed pitching. Ahmed Rosario, I just wasn't a big Noah Syndergaard fan, so anyone we could get for him, I was gonna be pleased with. I know he had a good outing today, I think, but yeah, Rosario, his bat, I think, is gonna help us just because we haven't been consistent kind of in the bottom of the lineup in getting guys on base for the top of the lineup when it turns over. So I thought, I didn't mind the move there. Just haven't been getting production out of Rojas or Vargas this year. So and with the injuries now to JD Martinez, it's nice to have a kind of solid bat in there. I know his defense isn't great, but if we can just have someone to help stop the bleeding, I guess, until our guys come back healthy, that would be nice. Joe Kelly, another guy returning, just great stuff. I know he gets his ERA is pretty high. He can get a little wild at times, but if you want to talk about terms of just stuff, if you ever watch Joe Kelly pitch, I mean, he has running 100 mile per hour. I don't even know if it's a sinker or two seam fastball, uh, paired with like a
It's a sinker
nasty,
slider.
yeah, sinker. It's disgusting that he can throw that pitch at 100 miles an hour. Um, he was a big help in that postseason run as well. Um, so happy to have him back. Lance Lynn, that was an interesting one. Not my first, pick of pitchers, I would say, on the market. Solid vet guy. I don't know if he's going to be a starter in the postseason. I wouldn't expect him to, but a solid arm to have out of the pen because it does seem like he's been getting burned a lot by the home run this year. I think he is the worst or ranks last, I should say, in allowing home runs to opposing hitters. So that is a little concerning to me. If he can keep the walks down though, limit them to the solo shots, or even just come in the postseason and give us 2 or 3 solid innings, maybe one time through the lineup, we have a pen game or something like that. I don't have a problem with that, honestly. And then last one, Ryan Yarbrough. I think he used to be on the Rays, right? If I remember correctly.
He
No,
was on the
he's
World Series team.
yeah, he was on that World Series team. I mean, sounds like he started off the year in the pen. Just getting more depth, I think, is gonna help us. Really would have liked to see obviously Scherzer or Verlander, especially Verlander. Thought we had a chance to go get him. Giolito, Dylan Cease, those guys, didn't really work out. But like you highlighted a little bit, the Eduardo Rodriguez, one personally, okay, maybe I should know who this is, but he's in Detroit. All right, so I didn't really know like what was going on. Then I started hearing like rumors. Oh, like there's this guy Rodriguez they're going after. He's a lefty. And I look him up. He's having a great year. Um,
Probably his
and
best year
probably his best year
as
as
a
a
pro.
pitcher. And yeah, best year as a pro. He, signed a big contract or a pretty decently sized contract, I believe, with the Tigers. And so I'm like, oh, like who is this guy? Okay, looks pretty good, right? Like I will take this guy. Turns out he doesn't want to come to LA. I have no idea what that's about. That was the craziest thing. Who doesn't want to come to
You know
LA?
why? You know why? Because he was on the Red Sox team that beat you guys, and he gave up the grand slam to Puig in that
Is
game.
that really
And
why
he,
though? I saw,
I don't know. I saw that
I
on
don't know.
Twitter,
Yeah, I
but he
didn't
could have
know.
nightmares
Maybe I didn't know he was the pitcher that led up. That's the infamous picture of him throwing his glove on the
and
ground,
throwing his
right?
glove on the ground.
I
Yeah.
mean, first of all, they won that World Series, so I mean, in the end, it doesn't really matter, right? But to me, it's just I've never heard someone decline LA. Like this isn't you're not going to, Cleveland or, like some freezing city. Who doesn't want to come play in LA for the Dodgers of all teams? So
When
I
you're
thought that
living
was
in Detroit.
yeah. At I mean, hey, he must have his reasons. I just got to say it kind of caught me off guard, but overall, I would give, Friedman not his best trade deadline. Um I think we are now really banking on guys coming back healthy and a lot of the rookies to step up. Bobby Miller, Sheehan, I believe, and Michael Grove. Need those guys, need Gonsolin to be solid. And quite honestly, my biggest concern is Julio Urias. Hopefully he can figure it out going into the postseason. He has been one of our best postseason performers in the past several years, but he just does not look quite the same. His stuff doesn't look the same, and the numbers are backing that up right now. A little bit concerning there, I would say, but hopefully, we can get healthy for to make our postseason push. So I would give it a C, you know, C plus maybe. I thought we did address some needs, but didn't really wasn't really able to land that big flashy guy. And maybe it is the recency bias that is giving me a C plus. For hey Matt, if this was your team, getting all these guys, that'd be probably a B plus, just based on your expectations. Um,
I think you have
but yeah,
higher expectations than me. I wasn't expecting, Dylan Cease or guys like that this trade deadline.
yeah.
So I think
Well,
you've been a little spoiled over
oh
the
no,
years.
I've definitely been spoiled, and I will acknowledge that. Um, but I have faith. I have faith in the front office that they know what they're doing. And maybe it's we just needed a little bit of chemistry with Kike back. He had a big hit tonight. You never know. It's never the always the best team on paper, as we've seen, the past 3, 4, 5 years in baseball. I mean, okay, Houston, yeah, Houston's probably the best team, top to bottom last year. But it's usually the hot team. So whoever's hot going into the postseason, typically they're the ones that make the deep runs. So it's not always about the names on your roster. It's about who's hot at the right time. So I'm still not quite concerned. We are still in first place. I know the Giants and the Diamondbacks are right there, but I think we can make the playoffs. Think we can make the division or win the division. So that's why I still have faith. I'm not panicking or anything, but Mr. Matsuda, on the other hand, Mr. Fanatic, I believe, is a little bit more disappointed or discouraged or just has given up. I don't know, maybe all of the above. But yeah, Matt, I'll give you your turn here. So just reflect on
Okay.
this deadline.
Well, I'll answer the first question that we had, the winners and losers, which is a perfect transition in a way to what I'm about to say for the next, hopefully, 5 minutes. But to start off, I think the winners for me, you could obviously say the Astros. I think that's a little too obvious, but I definitely think they won the trade deadline. You get Verlander back. He's kind of your pedigree. And going into the year, I was saying I don't think the Astros are going to win because they lost Verlander. And I think he's such a critical part to that team, that DNA, and especially that pitching staff that I thought they were vulnerable. And to some degree, they kind of were. Valdez was kind of streaky. Javier is having a down year. So I thought there was a chink in the armor, but the Astros kind of took advantage of the Mets being the Mets and they get their guy back. So I think they definitely won the trade deadline, in my opinion. Couple losers, though, in my opinion. I'll go with one loser, and then the second one I'll list is the biggest loser of the trade deadline. So I actually think the Angels lost this trade deadline. I know they're going out. They told Shohei, we're committed to winning this year. But realistically, do I think they're going to make the playoffs? No, I really don't. Even with the guys that they have, they add Giolito. He's a nice piece. Maybe for the Angels, he's a good piece, but is he a guy that's gonna get them over the hump? I don't know. If he was going to, let's say, the Dodgers, just based off of the team structure, I would say, okay, maybe. But I don't see Giolito having that impact being, a quote unquote high end number two going into your uh playoff run. So that doesn't really tilt the needle for me there. CJ Crone, Randall Grigic, they get those guys. They play for the Rockies, and I think that's a huge factor for me too. Coors Field is a hitter-friendly ballpark. I'm not so sure they can produce numbers like that outside of Coors Field. And let's be honest, the Angels are not going anywhere without Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, who has no timetable for a return. So if Mike Trout is injured, why are you even trying to buy? Like you're not going to go anywhere with him anyway. So that's your perfect excuse to say, let's trade Shohei at the deadline and let's rebuild, our farm system. But no, the Angels decide to get rid of their top prospects for Lucas Giolito. I think they gave up their number 2 and number 4 prospect for a guy who's going to be on the team for 3 months. Like, what are you guys doing? So you give up those 2 prospects. You could have had a cavalry in a sense if you trade Ohtani. Now you're not going to make the playoffs. Shohei's probably going to go to the Dodgers, so you're stuck in purgatory. So I think the Angels made the wrong decision just because they have to jump too many teams. I think the Astros, you're not going to catch them. Let's be honest. I think the Blue Jays are better. I think even the Red Sox have a better chance than them as well. But I will say they're not the biggest loser this trade deadline because there's a team
Who
on the
is
East Coast.
who is the
There's a
biggest loser?
team. There's a team on the East Coast
I
that
want to
has
hear
turned
it.
into the New York Angels. Yeah,
Oh,
the New York Angels.
the New York
Because you know why?
Athletics, even.
You could say that too, honestly. Just the only difference is the payroll. But the Yankees have turned into the Angels, and it's pretty sad because you got a Hall of Fame player, to me, and Aaron Judge, in my opinion, the best player in baseball. You got arguably the best pitcher in baseball in Garrett Cole. And I think that's about it. I think, based on this team, the Yankees, I was pretty furious today at work. It was not a good day for me. Didn't want to talk to anyone at work. I don't like to message anyone because I was on Twitter for the last hour of the trade deadline waiting for my GM to wake up. So I don't know if he thought the trade deadline was 6 p.m. Pacific time, but it was actually 6 p.m. Eastern time. So I think he probably was kind of scrambling to figure out a trade to make just to please the fans. And who do we get? We get a reliever from the White Sox. I don't even know his name. It's
Kenyon Middleton.
Kenyon Middleton.
I wonder if he's related to Chris.
Middleton. I would take Chris Middleton at this point because at least we can trade him for something. But we get him. That's kind of our big splash play. And then 10 minutes later, I hear we get this guy named Spencer Howard from the Rangers for cash considerations. He has a 7.24 ERA. What am I supposed to do with that? And he just got optioned to AAA. Like what what does that even do? Like going into the trade deadline, the Yankees 23rd in OPS, 29th in batting average as a team. The only team that's worse is the Oakland A's. Your starting pitcher ERA, it's pretty bad, but it's 18th. And this is the real catcher. Your reliever ERA, number one. Best bullpen statistically. And what do? Oh yeah, let me just go trade for a reliever that I don't need. Oh, but we have no left fielder for the past 2 years. We got no third baseman. We basically have no one playing first because Anthony Rizzo forgot how to play baseball. Gleyber Torres can't field a ground ball at second. Harrison Bader, he's walking on crutches every 2 weeks. Giancarlo Stanton, don't even get me started with him. Boone, the decisions, Cashman, Steinbrenner, the owner. It's a joke. And what did you say earlier in this episode? At the trade deadline, you either go in one or two directions. You go all in, you go for it, or you go all out, pull your chips out, and you sell and you try to gain prospects. Yeah, admit we failed this season. That's fine. But at least get something back in return, build your team up, build your farm system up for 2024. And you did nothing. That's the worst, literally the worst thing you could do. I'd rather have them sell. I was hoping that they would go into a sell mode. They sell, trade IKF, I don't know, trade him wherever, trade Bader, trade Clay Holmes. You could get some value for him. He's having a good year. Wandy Peralta, he's having a good year. Maybe Gleyber. I think Gleyber would have been a good piece to trade. But all the reports that I hear is, oh, Brian Cashman's been difficult to negotiate with. Like, dude, if you can't negotiate with anyone, you shouldn't be the GM of the Yankees. I have no words. No words. But that was just the trade deadline. I don't even know what was worse, the trade deadline or the games that were leading up to it. Because the Orioles series, I'm going to, go back a little bit. But the series before the trade deadline, we get our big boy back. Aaron Judge, back from the Dodger Stadium massacre on his right toe. That was kind of our ray of sunshine, a glimmer of hope that we had. And, we all know that he's not going to be 100%. He's going to have to play through the pain and just suck it up this year. And, it's not broken, so he can fix that in the offseason, whether it's surgery or whatever. But you got time in the offseason to fix that. And, what do you do if you're Aaron Boone? Yeah, let me sit Aaron Judge 2 games in to him coming back when we have a chance to win a series. What kind of message does that send to your team? You're not up in the division by 8 games like how we were last year, right? Every game at this point counts. And if you say everything is in front of us, you should treat it like everything's in front of you. Because right now you're treating it that, the rest of the pack is behind us. We got a couple games that we can spare. We'll tank this game to make sure Aaron Judge is healthy. No, you don't have that luxury. Aaron Judge, we don't go anywhere with Aaron Judge sitting on the bench at this point. So what is the reason to bench him? And oh, by the way, Luis Severino comes out, gets absolutely shelled, gives up 7 runs in the first inning. You could have used that excuse and said, okay, we started Aaron Judge. It's a 7-0 game. Let me take him out in the 4th inning if we don't make a real push to come back in this game. Like, there's so many ways you can navigate that if you're Aaron Boone. And the game before, it was set up perfect. The Yankees were winning. IKF had a big bases clearing double. We kind of create some separation. He takes Aaron Judge out of the game. Okay, perfect. He's resting him up for Sunday, and you don't play him. You don't play him with the season on the line against the best team in your division and in the AL. I think the message that's being sent by Hal, Brian Cashman, Aaron Boone, that's the most frustrating part about this trade deadline, because Aaron Boone, the whole year, I don't know if you watched the Talking Yanks podcast with Boone every time they do the interview, but every time they ask him a question about a certain injury, to whether it's Judge, Nestor, Bader when he was down, Giancarlo, like everything was, oh yeah, we're gonna take the high road, like, we're being very cautious with him. Yeah, you can do that in April, but you can't do that at the trade deadline, especially if you're a team on the bubble and on the fence. Like, you've been saying the same thing, the entire season. The games are different. I get it if it's April. You're not gonna run a guy out there fresh off of spring training and wear him down. But time is of the essence, and you're losing it by the game. And the message that you send, it's poor. It's poor. And, I could go on and on about Aaron Boone, but the things that he says just, like, really, like, it just sounds so stupid. Oh, yeah, the Yankees strike out 18 times in a game, and you tell the media, oh, yeah, outside of the strikeouts, I thought our bats were good. That's part of the game. If I strike out, that means I didn't get a hit. I didn't do my job. That's 18 strikeouts in a game, and you're telling the media, oh, we were doing great. The plan to, wear them down was totally working for us. Yeah, right. Wear down maybe your guys mentally. Like, who says that? Like, I don't even know. And then the next game against the Rays, I get a report saying that Domingo Germán is scratched from his start. We call up Johnny Brito. He gets absolutely shelled. And then all of a sudden, 3 hours later, he's coming in as a reliever. And oh, by the way, he throws 5 innings of shutout baseball in relief. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, that
Like,
was weird.
either start the man or don't play him at all. Like, that makes no sense.
Yeah, I didn't get that.
And, you continue to bat Anthony Rizzo and Giancarlo Stanton as your 3rd and 4th batter. Like, they're just black holes at this point. They're probably individually the biggest reasons why we're losing. Because if you have Judge in the game, they're pitching around him. They're walking him. And if I was the other team, I would do the same thing. They walk Judge, Rizzo strikes out. He went 0 for 5, had 5 strikeouts in a game. Like that. You can't have that. And, I said about Big G, don't get me started with him. But I said this when they signed him back in 2018. We don't need him. We were coming off a year. We were 1 win away from the World Series. We had this baby bomber youth movement going on. And you sign a guy that's injury prone and strikes out a lot. And oh, by the way, we could have had Bryce Harper. You said no to him because we had Stanton. You could have had Manny Machado. Look at our third base situation now. We're stuck with Josh freaking Donaldson. who's not even on the team, but he's making $25 million. Like, look at all the things that we missed out on. And a guy like Stanton, who's probably the slowest player in baseball, and he's only 33. It's not like he's like 40 or like
Really? He's
Bartolo
only
Colon.
33?
He's 33 and he
Wow.
he plays like he's 40. He looks like Albert Pujols in his final year. Like that's how bad it looks speed wise. And he can't hit the ocean right now at this point. And if I was the GM, just hypothetically saying, I would have tried to get off of Giancarlo Stanton. If that meant giving up Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones, one of these top prospects, heck, even Volpe. I would have threw in Volpe. If you take Stanton, we'll give you Volpe and a couple prospects to just get him off. Because that's the idea of rebuilding, right? We're the Yankees. What was our motto? You draft a couple guys, build them up, Aaron Judge, Derek Jeter, Bernie, guys that you draft, you build a core, and then you get the splash, the A-Rod signing, the CC signing. That's how the Yankees operate. So you got your homegrown guy in Aaron Judge. Let's now build around that, and I'm not saying it has to be Shohei, but a guy like Shohei, that's the kind of guy you empty the paycheck for. But you can't do that in this case because, well, one, Shohei's a pitcher and a DH, and Stanton's stuck. He's stuck in the DH spot. And because he's stuck in the DH spot, you can't load manage Judge. You can't load manage all these guys that are injury prone on the rest of your roster and use that DH spot to get them off their feet. So he is literally a handicap for this entire team, financially and in the lineup. And if I was Cashman, I would have found a way to just get him off the team. You eat half of his contract, give them a prospect, give them Volpe, Peraza, whoever they want. But just a lack of aggression and the ability to make deals, and most importantly, the lack of urgency from this team. It's a disgrace. It's truly a disgrace. I'm over baseball season, but lucky for me, I got the Dallas Cowboys coming up. I know they're going to do great this year, so I'm already transitioning into football mode.
No, Matt, you've been seeing some of the videos coming out of training camp. I don't know how
Yeah,
stoked you
I,
should
I've
be right
been
now.
I've been seeing Micah Parsons look like a beast.
Hey,
I've been
that
seeing
defense looks
Brandon
good though. You're right.
Brandon Cooks catching the deep ball. I've been CeeDee Lamb cooking all those corners. Trayvon Diggs is talking the talk after he got his money. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. And oh, by the way, Cooper Rush had a nice touchdown today in training camp. Sweet mobility to get out of the pocket. So I'm liking what this team has got.
Why do I have to hear Cooper Rush talking in August? This is ridiculous. This
Well,
is
I don't see Cooper Rush throwing picks on Twitter. Cooper Rush, instead of forcing the ball, he's taking the check down, running. That's what we
God,
gotta do.
it's training camp.
Well, if it was me, he's winning the quarterback battle in training camp. So, but
Yeah, we'll get to
the
the
hell,
Cowboys.
the hell with the Yankees. I am done with them. So, you know what? Let's move on. I'm sick of this
Okay,
baseball talk
well,
already.
let me just say that I tease, like when the Cowboys lose or whatever, or the Yankees lose or whatever, or it's fun to mock, oh Jerry, what are you doing? Or oh Cashman, what are you doing? But you know, just following the Yankees more because of the show, um, like it really like when I was really thinking about it today, like you said, it just really doesn't make sense. Like that was the thing I was thinking, like as if you're Cashman, right? You have a valid excuse to me, right? Even if all you're thinking about is your own job, right? Judge gets hurt. You lose your best player, MVP, AL home run king for what, 2 months? You lose your best
Yeah,
player,
2 months.
Anthony Rizzo. Okay, yes, he struggled, but it all kind of does date back to that, Tatis neck thing, right? where he did get hurt. Maybe he's playing through some nerve, with the neck, right? You never know with the neck. When there's, the nerve, the spine is involved. Maybe something's been off for him the past 2 or 3 months as well. So I'm not even gonna take it all like you could say, oh, Rizzo's playing through some stuff. Stanton is hurt as well, like in and out of the lineup. To me, you have the perfect cop out of selling, of why you should want to sell, right? You can go, you know, just couldn't stay healthy this year, right? Like uh Rodon has just been coming back, but he still isn't quite as sharp.
He
Just
looks
blame
terrible.
injury. Just I would just blame injuries at this point, honestly. Right? So that gives you the valid, excuse, reason, whatever you want to say. Okay, we're scrapping this year. I know we're the Yankees, but we're scrapping this year. We tried, just our best players couldn't stay healthy and produce. But then, like you said, to just sit there and do nothing, like Bader, I'm sure, he still has the speed, he still has the glove. He's been an average to above average hitter, but the
Teams
people,
wanted him.
yeah, and people remember playoff runs, right? The postseason he had last year for you guys, your hottest hitter. People remember that kind of stuff. So, like you said, teams are calling about him. Isaiah, I mean, he's been arguably one of your best hitters since Judge has been out. I think he's hitting like 300 or something over the past 2 months as well. Um, so it's like I know teams were inquiring about him, but you know, they're not they're gonna be free agents anyway. It's not like, you've invested in them long term and are, you know, you've made the commitment already. Like go get, like you said, something to look forward to next year. So that's just like really what doesn't make sense to me is, if you are just concerned about keeping your job, whatnot, like you you had the cop outs right there for you to so that just doesn't make sense to me, quite honestly. Um, I don't know if it's someone above him telling him, no, we're the Yankees, we don't sell, but we don't whatever. I don't know. I don't get it. And then, like you said, the playing part, like Stanton, Rizzo, LeMahieu, I thought has been a huge disappointment as well. Just his bat. He was the hitting champ not too long ago in Colorado. Now he's hitting 230. His OPS is terrible. I mean, like Isaiah, who's been arguably your best hitter the past 2 months, still isn't an everyday guy. Like you still have McKinney go in there and like, Bowers and stuff. I just don't get I mean, I don't get it. Like maybe I'm biased because IKF, Hawaii, whatever, right? But you look at the stats over the past 2 months, he's hitting 300. His OPS is like 800. I don't compared to the numbers I'm seeing in the rest of your lineup, like you would find a place for him to play if he's gonna, consistently deliver. I don't know. I don't get it. Yeah, sorry, Matt. I think you guys are cooked. It's gonna take a miracle run,
We are cooked.
some spark. I don't know.
We are cooked.
I
I'm
don't
throwing
know.
in the towel.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you were able to have your nice little rant. Let's take a break. Just do a quick recap of the other trades and talk some football, and we'll call it a off-season pod. Okay, I guess that works. All right. So let's just wrap up second half of this pod. So there are a couple other, trades that went down. I'm just gonna run through the big ones you listed down really fast, Matt. Jordan Hicks to Toronto, as well as Paul DeYoung. I thought, Jordan Hicks, flamethrower, obviously, like if one of, if not the hardest thrower in the league, I believe. Um, so Toronto's stocking
One
up to
of.
make a, yeah, he's making a push. DeYoung to kind of supplement the Bo Bichette injury. You know, I think that makes sense for them. Toronto's going to be another sneaky team. I'm still not quite sold on them as a deep playoff team, but I definitely think they improved their chances with that. Um, I mean, I don't think you care at this point, right? Any AL East team, you just have accepted the fact that it's not going to be your Yankees. So, is there a team? Just curious, as a Yankees fan, is there a team where you're like, okay, I'd be okay with them making the playoffs, but not that. Like, obviously, I know you don't want the Red Sox making the playoffs. That's a given. But like the other three, is it like, yeah, Baltimore's been having it rough, or is it you just don't care? You hope you don't want to see any of them succeed at this point.
I mean, I don't want. I want the Twins to win.
Ew, the
I want
Twins.
the worst team to win. But
Ew.
honestly, I think Baltimore, they've come a long way. I think, it would be okay for them to win it out. I think. I don't like the Blue Jays. I think they're really arrogant. Obviously, the Red Sox are just a disgrace. But yeah, the Rays, in a way, I kind of cheer for the Rays because I just want the front office to see how a good structured organization does business.
Mm,
And if the Rays win, and they already smacked us in a series, they won the first two games in Yankee Stadium, so it kind of just shows like, hey, guys like even the Dodgers, Astros, well run front office organizations with the teams top to bottom. In a way, I kind of cheer for them. Maybe not the Astros because they cheated; they don't have integrity,
mm,
but guys with strong front offices. That's who I want to do well. And I think the Orioles, they've done a good job.
yeah, the rebuild
They've
worked.
built and they added a little piece in Jack Flaherty, like things like that. It doesn't have to be a Verlander, but you know, if you're a contender, sometimes it's just that little piece that takes you over the hump. So yeah, I guess the Orioles, young team. Maybe make the Yankees the hunter next year because they might be favored to be last in the division going in the next season. So
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, I was just interested. Yeah, because I don't want to see the Giants, but if one of the wild card teams were to make it, um, probably Arizona, because well, one, they're young, and I don't think they pose a huge threat. Um, Mostly because of their youth, though. I don't think they're quite ready. As we've kind of seen, they've kind of taken a little bit of a slide. So, yeah, not too concerned there. But yeah, okay. Other trades, we talked about the Angels. Um, the Diamondbacks, though, they did get Paul Sewald, I believe. Um, and
it's
he,
a good pick.
yeah, definitely bolstered up that bullpen. So a little bit of concern for me. Um, but Josh Rojas, I thought it was like, oh, it's gonna be a nice little Hawaii reunion again up in Seattle, and then Colton gets DFA'd. I mean, I should have seen that one coming. No surprise there. I mean, I love Colton. Obviously, we love Colton. Gold Glover, right? Everything he's done for Hawaii baseball, but just having a rough year in Seattle. Like, he was hitting 150, I think, or something. It cut it. It's time. Um,
Fun fact about Colton, he's had such a bad year that his first home run came against the Yankees. I think it was last month.
yeah,
Poetic, right? It's the Yankees, of course, but
yeah. Um, he definitely needs a fresh start somewhere else. I think he still will have a chance because he's not that old yet. Early 30s, I
it's
think.
like early 30s, yeah.
So he's still got some legs left, I think. Uh, maybe he gets one more chance somewhere to go prove himself, but yeah, hopefully I was hoping one of these teams picked him up because he got DFA'd, so anyone can kind of scoop him up, right?
Hmm.
Or look to sign him. So yeah, you never know. Injuries late in the playoffs or in the postseason push, you never know. Would like to see him go to a decent team. Maybe at least he can ride the bench and get kind of that almost an Isaiah role where you don't have to play him every day. But just to
That's what I was
see
gonna
him,
say. He could
yeah,
be.
just to see him in the league, still, that'd be nice. But yeah, I was like, because I always track the Hawaii guys, and I had to stop. It was just so rough, man. Oh yeah, it was a tough time. Thank goodness Isaiah started doing better. So I had some hope. Uh, Maybe hopefully we'll start tracking another guy. I mean, Kirby Yates. I think he finally came back for Atlanta. So he's on a winning team. Good for him. And who knows? Maybe we'll see another one. Guy I played against in high school, Joey Cantillo in the futures game. He did pretty well for himself. So maybe there'll be more pros from Hawaii for us to keep tabs on. That'd be nice. But yeah, Colton, I just hope he gets a fresh start somewhere else because it was rough. The PNW is not for everyone, Matt, as we know. That
I think you
seasonal
should just go to the
depression and
A's.
oh man,
You can be
yeah,
the face of the team there.
or I don't even know. But yeah, hopefully he takes a good off season to rest and gets a chance to just prove himself. Because that at this point now, right? That's kind of what you're hoping for. Just give him a chance to be on a team. He's not gonna start. He's not gonna be a starter anymore. But yeah, just a chance to reestablish himself in the majors. So that'd be nice for him. Um, all right, some of the other ones. Michael Lorenzen, Detroit's only All Star, goes to Philly. Philly too. Uh, right on the bubble. I think they needed to add some pitching. Their two guys have been a little lackluster, right? I think Wheeler and Nola not quite having that dynamic 1-2 punch, but we've kind of been seeing that across the league from a lot of pitchers this year, right? Manoa, I don't know what happened to that guy. Third place in the Cy Young to getting
Yeah,
what
good for him. I don't
ripped
feel bad for
against
him at
double
all.
A or single A teams. Even like Sandy Alcantara, Dylan Cease, a guy we talked about a lot last year. Like, just I don't I don't know what's going on, but the fall off of some of these guys has been serious. So good to see the Phillies bolster up. I still think with their roster, they can still hit, with anyone if they get hot at the right time. So I thought that was a good move for
Yeah.
them.
If Trey Turner plays like Trey Turner, they're gonna be dangerous.
Yeah,
Harper's
see,
starting to get his feet wet again, so once Trey Turner gets going, I think they're gonna be dangerous.
yeah, he's been just off this year. I mean, really
The
thought he
money,
was
the
gonna
contract.
maybe that was it, but I really thought he was good. He had the potential, just like a lot of people thought in the beginning of the year, to have an MVP like season, right?
I thought he was gonna do what Acuna's been doing.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, with the stolen bases, the home runs, the average, that was Trey Turner the past several years. Not not surprised Acuna's doing what he's doing though. I mean, that guy is just an absolute animal. Um, I think if he stays healthy, easily the NL MVP. So that one
Oh
should be a
yeah,
lock.
it's not even close.
Yeah,
And the
I don't,
AL too.
yeah, I think both the races are pretty much solidified now. Um, but yeah, good for the Phillies. That wild card race in the NL is going to be tight. I think what do we got? 6 teams realistically vying for it. I know the Cubs are 3.5 back, but they are hot right now. They're um winning at the right time. Belly, I'm happy for Cody. He's doing well. He's gonna get a big contract by someone next season, because he has shown he's back, to his almost MVP form. He's hitting around 300. The power's back. Maybe he just sometimes all you need is a fresh change of scenery. I really hope the Dodgers could have traded for him. I'm sure you were hoping the Yankees could have traded for him with that short porch in right field. That's probably
We
the
do have a left fielder problem, and that would have been so ideal.
yep.
So ideal.
So yeah, that would have been a nice piece to have there. Um, Couple other moves. Padres made a couple moves, but it's like at this point, if they can't win with their roster now. Like I don't know what it is with them. They're just a cursed organization, I guess. Um, like you have Machado, you have Soto, you have guys like Ha-Seong Kim, who is the WAR leader somehow, um, for the NL, right? So, and you sign Bogarts, uh, you're still under 500. Like what is the I don't know. If I'm the Padres, I would have considered selling, Soto as well. Maybe. Um just completely nuke it and rebuild from scratch. Uh but yeah,
They
I mean they
definitely should
get
have sold on oh, what is his name? Blake Snell. Blake Snell and Josh Hader. I think those two guys have expiring contracts. You could get something for
and
those
Blake
two
Snell
guys.
is gonna get a disgustingly big contract this
He might win
offseason.
the Cy Young this year. That might be his second Cy Young in his career.
Which is crazy because of how poorly he started the year. Like he really did not start the season well at all. But the run he's been on, like 100 something innings or whatever, 8 runs allowed. It's like what this guy has been on a ridiculous tear. That's that Tampa Bay Blake Snell Cy Young type of thing that we were used to seeing. I didn't even mention Tatis, forgot about him. But yeah,
He's
Tatis has
having a
been
good year
back
though.
and he's having a good year. And they still can't win. Like, I don't get it. Uh, whatever. I don't really care. I don't really have a ton of sympathy for the Padres anyway, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, other than that, Matt, kind of ran through them. Was there any one of those you really wanted to talk about or discuss? Yeah, I'm good. I mean, we've
No,
talked about our
no,
teams enough.
I threw in the towel. Here's my
Okay.
white flag.
All right.
Baseball is
Well,
over for me.
I think yeah, it's
I
safe to
hate the
say
Yankees right now.
we can move on from
Disgrace.
baseball.
Disgraceful.
All right, let's move on from baseball then. Let's get in to a little bit of football offseason stuff. So that quarterback show released. It talked about followed Mahomes, followed Kirk Cousins, followed Marcus throughout the years last year. And we all knew what kind of seasons each of those guys had. Um, just overall thoughts on the show. I'll go really fast. I thought it was a pretty good documentary. Netflix and their sports documentaries have been pretty on point. All of them that they kind of put out. The Full Swing one. Uh, I wasn't even really a big golf guy, but just following guys like that throughout the course of the year just makes it a really interesting experience, I think, for fans. And big, you know, more than casual fans like us, right? When we want to see what it's like, behind closed doors, for a lot of these different guys. And I know not a lot of ton of people were gonna pay attention to Marcus's part. It's gonna be a lot of people on the West Coast, or I should say a lot of people in Oregon, a lot of people in Hawaii, not a ton of people outside of that, probably. But I'm glad he got a little bit of his highlight on the show. But I still didn't quite get why he went to go get the surgery. Like that was the whole thing, right? Oh, he quit on his team and blah blah blah. But to me, they didn't like really discuss it a ton. See, my thing is though, like,
That's where they cut him off from the show
yeah,
too, in a
yeah.
way.
So, my thing is that okay, I don't think Marcus is the guy to quit on a team personally, unless something went down and they're not talking about, they didn't want to discuss it. But to me, I have never had any like his track record off the field, has always been stand-up guy. Uh is not gonna say anything negative about his team. Always puts the blame on himself first, right? So when all these Atlanta reporters, oh, he quit on his team, he left to go, blah blah blah. Like to me, I don't buy it. There has to be some other reason, or maybe it was the birth of his daughter. You never really know. Um, but to me, I don't buy the whole like he's a bad teammate thing. If he's a bad teammate, no one else is going to sign him. And where does he go? End up the runner-up Super Bowl contenders, right? Your rival in the NFC East. So they're gonna look for a guy that can help that room. When you're that close, it comes down to the little things, right? So to me, that says more about Marcus's character than anything. Like the Eagles runner ups in the Super Bowl are gonna go take a chance and sign him to back up Jalen Hurts, mentor him, give him, guidance throughout the year. I know you're hoping not too much guidance, but yeah, I don't know. I still think that how it came out in the media just didn't make any sense to me. But yeah, it was cool. I've never seen Marcus talk so much before. So that was pretty interesting. I thought that was pretty good. You saw the local boy in him for sure. Um,
Well, yeah, yeah, but I don't know. I thought even staying on the Marcus thing, I thought it was pretty unfair to me how they split up the screen time. Like it just felt like it
oh, it
was
was what Mahomes,
Mahomes,
Cousins, and then Marcus.
Cousins, and then Marcus.
Yeah.
Like, we got like 5 minutes to fill. We'll just show Marcus for 5 minutes. Like I don't know. Like I think everyone would want to see Mahomes a little bit more, but you should have balanced it out a little bit more. That's my opinion. Maybe it's because we have an interest in seeing this new side of Marcus or what goes on behind the scenes with him, but I want it to be a little bit more balanced. But on the bright side, I did like the Kirk Cousins part. I think that was probably
Yeah.
my
Yeah, good for Kirk,
my
man.
favorite. Mahomes, whatever. We know he's
We
good at
know he's
football
the
and all,
best.
but
Yeah, we know he's the best.
yeah, I can't stand his family either, so I was just kind of like squeezing my ears on that one.
Thank
But
goodness they didn't show that much of Jackson Mahomes though. Like Brittany, his wife, I thought just like I already had the conception in my head, right, of what she was gonna be like. I didn't think she was as bad as I was expecting. Maybe they didn't show like all the
they
bad
probably didn't
parts.
show everything.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. But the impression I got from her was not the initial what I was expecting, I should say. Like she seemed like, pretty good mom. Like she was very supportive of Patrick. So I didn't really have any gripes with her, which I thought I would have going into the show. I would be like, oh my goodness. But uh yeah, see, Netflix was smart. Omaha Productions, Peyton, he knew what he was
Peyton.
he knew what he was doing leaving Jackson off that show. He knew exactly what he was doing. Um so yeah, I'm glad at least on that front. But yeah, like you said, the Kirk thing, that was pretty cool. Uh and I forgot how many good games Kirk was in throughout the year as well. So it kind of just worked out perfectly for Peyton and his show. But yeah, that you know, the preparation and stuff you see behind closed doors, um, more so the playing through injury. Like I forget sometimes. Maybe it's
All
because
three of them had
yeah,
to.
we don't watch, or we watch football, but we've never played, tackle football. We don't know what it's like to go out there, take a beating, go play the next game in a week. Um, so I think that kind of gets lost in it a little bit for fans. Just seeing everything they do, not only to perform at the highest level, but just recover your body in time. Kirk was dealing with those ribs right throughout the whole year. I don't remember hearing any injury report coming about him. Um, so I thought, I
He
just had
didn't
to
miss a
tip my
start. I don't think he
yeah,
missed a start too, right?
got to tip my cap to those guys because you know it yeah, it's a brutal sport. After the hits you hear him like groaning, like oh, like he's winded. Um and his ribs have been bruised the whole year, and just keeps eating it, like taking shots to the ribs, to the midsection. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't know how. Like you see a regular hit, but on TV, right? Like not even a vicious one, just a regular tackle, like on TV, and then you see like the zoomed up real time, uh, replays of the same hit, and it's just so much more brutal when you're right there down next to it. So I give all those guys props. Everyone that plays the NFL, I give props. But yeah, that was cool to see, I thought, from Kurt. All right. Um
I did want to say, so I think they did say that they're gonna do season two, right?
yeah,
For
no one wants to be
quarterback.
on it apparently.
Only Joe Burrow, I think, is
That'd be cool.
official
That'd
from
be
what I
cool.
heard.
Yeah, I
Who
mean,
do you think? Who do you think they're gonna have? So they
well,
got Joe. They
I
probably need two
know.
more.
So Jalen Hurts declined, Lamar declined, Tua declined, um,
Dak decline.
Dak declined. I think Sam Howell from the Redskins
Decline.
declined. So to me, it's got to be. I would go with a rookie. Um,
Bryce.
I mean, Bryce would be great, but personally, I don't think he's gonna do it. I don't think he would. I think CJ Stroud would do it. He definitely seems like to have that type of
You know who would
personality.
do it? You know who would do it? Anthony Richardson, because his owner would make him.
Yeah, but even he doesn't seem about that. You know who would do it? Baker. That would
Oh,
be a fun
that's
one.
true. That's a good
That
one.
would be a fun one to watch. I think
Hmm.
Joe Burrow, a guy like Baker, um, it,
That's a good one.
probably,
I like that. I like
yeah.
that.
I think that'd be really interesting. Interesting watches for sure. But I don't know.
Did Rogers. They should have did Rogers.
Rogers would have been great. I don't know. He's already doing a hard knocks
Hard
though.
knocks.
So yeah, that was kind of out.
Yeah.
But
If it was me, but yeah, why don't we do that? If you were to your Peyton, who would you pick as your
are they gonna
three?
say yes though? For sure.
Yeah, they just say like it's just
Oh,
yeah, say
oh,
well assume they say yes,
yeah.
who would you want?
Well, obviously, I would want to see Tua. Like that would be great TV to see. I think he probably wouldn't give a lot, wouldn't show a lot because he's a pretty private guy, and stuff like that. But I think I would choose him because he's going to be under a lot of heat this year, a lot of pressure. They built around him, defense, offense. They have the speed. It's exciting when he's out there on the field, and maybe just kind of getting a glimpse behind the curtain for his recovery process, everything he's been doing to kind of help with the injuries and stuff he goes through. So I think him, just in general, would be really interesting. I would love to see Dak personally. Um, just
Please.
just because it's the Cowboys, right? All the scrutiny they already get, I think that would be um just great to see how Dak kind of handles being the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys week in and week out, especially when you underperform, which I guarantee you he will at one game at least this year, if not multiple games. Uh, so I think that would be a great one to see. And yeah, last one, it's got to be one of the guys at the top. Um, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, Jalen Hurts. I would say Justin Herbert, but he seems also like a pretty plain, just goes about his business guy. Wouldn't be the most
He's a boring
interesting,
dude.
yeah, interesting to watch. I think Joe Burrow or Josh Allen, that'd be a great watch. Lamar even would be really interesting with Odell now in Baltimore. Um, I don't know, probably yeah, one of the elite level guys. Let's just say Joe Burrow though. So I'd say Joe Burrow, Tua, and Dak. I don't need to see
Hmm.
rookies, or the vet story necessarily. Um, I would say those would be my three guys.
Okay. Yeah, I think for me, definitely Josh Allen. I think he kind of has that Mahomes aura, minus the resume, but kind of
I
that
don't know. I
poster
think Joe
child.
Burrow,
Like
Joe Burrow kind of.
I think Josh Allen. I think the NFL wants Josh Allen to be almost what Joe Burrow is,
Yeah,
and like how he's playing.
yeah,
But I think
definitely.
Josh Allen would be a good one for me. I would want to see a rookie, so I would say Bryce Young. Kind of see how a rookie quarterback handles the
Well, I
first year,
think
which
I
is
think
really, really hard.
I think Bryce Young is an exception. Like, dude just seems like a second Joe Burrow almost. Like a little bit younger, or I mean, sorry, a little bit smaller, but just so composed already. Like you can tell just how he talks. He's a very intelligent guy. Very um well spoken, well mannered, knows how to treat. He's an adult in the room. So that's why I was like, if you're gonna pick a rookie, pick someone that's a little bit more raw. You know, maybe that's why I said CJ Stroud. I think he's a little bit more raw than Bryce Young. So um
I'm
that would be my
biased, I
only.
think. I like Bryce Young, that's
Oh,
why.
I like Bryce
So
Young too.
yeah,
I like Bryce
that's
Young
why
too. I'm just
yeah. It's a little biased for me with Bryce Young, but definitely a rookie. I would want to see a rookie starting quarterback. And then the last one, I think it's pretty obvious, but I want to see like how they had Marcus last year, a veteran guy
oh god.
comes in as as a starter, but then he lost his job to a rookie. So I want to see the reverse. I want to see, somebody quote unquote start off as a backup and then eventually become the starter and then lead a team to the Super Bowl and have that Nick Foles story. So I
Oh,
would
I know who you're getting
I
at.
would want to
Brock
see.
Purdy.
No, he's a starter. He's a starter this year. He's a starter. So you actually got the right team with your guy, but I'm gonna go with the other quarterback. I don't need to see Mr. Prescott. I need to see Mr. Rush in the bright lights. I want Mahomes screen time on him, like
God, please.
60% Cooper Rush.
Please.
That would be awesome. He would have that Mahomes screen time, but the Kirk Cousins lifestyle, and I think he would just kill it. It would be a great. It's a win-win situation for everybody. Everybody's winning in this situation. Dallas gets their TV time. Peyton Manning's going to make a lot of money because of the guys he picked, especially the Cowboy quarterback who I'm saying should be on the show. It's just a great situation. So Peyton Manning, Joe Burrow's on for next year.
They're
I
gonna have
would
to change
highly
the show
recommend
name. The show name's
Big
gonna
Time
be
Rush.
it's gonna be QB2. That's what the show's gonna be. It's not gonna be quarterback. It's gonna be QB2. What are we talking about
Hey, I don't care if
backups?
it's cute. Hey, but that's what we want to see. I don't want to just see all the starters. I want to see
Oh
the
Matt,
good
that's what
backups,
you
and
wanna
and I
see.
want to see. That was the question I asked. Who would you want on the quarterback show? So I'm giving my opinion, and I speak for a lot of people around the world in the team that has one of the biggest fan bases outside of the Yankees. Maybe I think we would be really happy with that, and everybody wins. So Josh Allen, Bryce Young, Cooper Rush.
Okay, whatever, man. Um, okay, you know what, Matt? I'm glad you brought that up because that's my cue to end the podcast. Talk about Cooper Rush twice on the show. It's time to wrap it.
Bro, it's I told you I'm
It's
done with the
time.
Yankees.
It's
It's
time to
almost
wrap the
time for football
pod.
season.
I
I'm
know.
ready. I'm ready for season 3.
All right. Well, since you're so ready, please give us a sports fact and so we can get out of here.
All right. So, sports fact of the day is back. We're recording on August 1st, and let's go back to 2014. Current LA Clippers forward, but at the time was on the Pacers, Paul George. He suffered his gruesome compound fracture of his lower right leg in a
What
scrimmage last
the
year,
heck
or
kind
in
of
2004.
sports fact? You're bringing up the Paul George injury? I
That was the
liked
only one that I could
I
find.
liked Paul George before that injury
No, and
too.
I like Paul George too. I think he's done an awesome job coming back
Yeah,
from that injury because that's
he
a
has.
career threatening injury. So I'm not really making fun of him. Like that's more of a props to him for coming back because he's turned
Okay,
into
okay, comeback story. That's what you.
yeah.
Okay,
He's I mean he's still an all-star player to me, playing
that's
at a high
true.
level. He's got a good podcast too, so
Yep,
I think he's doing okay.
yeah, it is true. That is true. It was a good comeback story. Just yeah, that was a tough one. Um, okay, Matt. Well, good tune-up episode. We will definitely be cleaned up and ready to go for football season. Because man, football season pods are so long. When it's playoff baseball, college football, NFL football all at one time. Got a lot to talk about. And I'll be recording in a brand new location this year. So gotta have to play with the setups a little bit. Maybe, you never know. Me and Matt will have an in-person one of these recordings one day. So yeah, got a couple things to straighten out, but other than that, everyone, thank you. Um, this is just a little teaser of what's to come, and season three. Can't believe we're doing season three. Hit 42 episodes last year. I don't know if we're gonna do that again, but we will try to hit 42. That'd be insane if we do that, again this year.
No,
But
we got it. We got it.
yeah, we got it. We do love it's for the love of sports, right? So expect more content, expect better content, expect more consistent social media postings, uh different editing styles a little bit. We'll see. Just a lot more this season, I think, right? So thank you everyone for sticking around, and we will see you very soon.